Raise your right hand. I, Emily Eastman,
I, Emily Eastman,
on my honor, will never betray my badge,
on my honor, will never betray my badge,
my integrity,
my
character,
character,
or the public trust.
or the public trust.
I will always have the courage to hold
I will always have the courage to hold
myself and others accountable for our actions.
myself and others accountable for our actions.
I will uphold the United States Constitution,
I will uphold the United States Constitution,
the Constitution of the State of Minnesota,
the Constitution of the State of Minnesota,
and its laws.
and its laws.
I will uphold the ordinances of the City of New Prague
I will uphold the ordinance of the City of New Prague
and faithfully serve my agency and community
and faithfully serve my agency and my community
to the best of my abilities.
to the best of my abilities.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
You sign it. He actually has another one. Oh, there we go.
Thank you. Thank you.
Oh, wait, do I?
You're good, man.
Oh, that's the one I did. Oh,
It's fine.
Good luck.
Congratulations. Good luck out there.
Thank you.
Thank you. Hi.
Hey.
I'll let the room clear a little bit. And blast from the past, Charlie and Doug and.
Boy, did they ever, I don't remember if they'll swear us anymore.
No, they never did.
The badge.
Nope, yep, throw you the set of keys and off you went, yep. Okay, the next item is the consent agenda. Does anybody have any questions on the consent agenda? Otherwise, I'd take a motion for approval.
So moved.
There's been a motion by Maggie, seconded by, Rick. Any other discussion or questions? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, motion carries. Next item is the engineer's, report.
Good evening, everybody.
Aye.
So I do have a couple things for you today. First is just the city engineer update. I will ask if there are any questions on there, but I can actually amend a couple items on here, so, or one item. The RRFB project on 10th Avenue, the parts did arrive, so tomorrow it's actually being installed, so, just mention that.
Oh,
So that's
really?
Yep,
Good.
yep, I was usually liked a little more notice than, morning
day?
before, but, looks like it'll be taken care of and installed, and should take more than a day or two to get functional, so.
Good.
That'll be hopefully taken care of pretty quickly here, so. I do have an item on the 2024 project, and then one I'm just gonna highlight a little bit more is the, First Avenue Southeast, CASAS 60 potential turnback. So, myself, Matt, and Ken met with the Seward County engineer, Dave Teagues, a couple weeks back to talk about a future turnback of that roadway, south of Highway 19, all the way down to, I think it's 29 on the south end. That is likely gonna be something that we'll be discussing further here, in the coming months, but, it will come up here in the next few years as being a a likely thing that would be proposed by LaSure County.
Okay.
So with that, that's all I have for my updates. I don't know if there are any questions for me. If not, I do have another item on here to move on to.
Nope, go ahead.
All right, so kind of rolling into the 2024 street and utility improvement project. The project was bid on February 23rd. We had 9 bidders on the project. The low bidder was BCM Construction out of Faribault. They were lower than the engineer's estimate by a fair amount. A few other bidders were as well. The low bid by BCM Construction was in the amount of $4,117,201, and that's for the base bid plus alternate bid. So the base bid is the project that you've been seeing most of the time through here. The alternate bid was doing some sanitary sewer lining on the west end of 6th Street through the cul-de-sac area, just east of the cul-de-sac. So the sanitary sewer goes through a backyard area in that area, so we wanted to line it instead of doing open cut construction. So that was the alternate bid. Altogether, bids came in very well, very good. And with that, I am recommending award of the contract, including the alternate bid to BCM Construction. And I'll see if there are any questions for me first.
Reputable company.
Yes, yep, they completed the 2015 project over on the west side of town, 6th Avenue, is that sound right? 5th Avenue, 6th Avenue area, north of 19.
That was kind of a mill and overlay. And
Mill and
curb-
overlay, some
curb
utility
repair,
work,
yeah.
yeah, kind of a lot of spotty stuff. They have bid multiple projects for SCH, including string utility projects of this size and bigger, actually. So they do have the capability of completing the project. The subcontractors they have listed on there, I worked with many times, and they do good work, sort of
Okay.
paving and curb crews. So I do recommend award to them.
Any other questions?
Just one, and I'm probably gonna answer it myself anyway, but, so it's the total bid that we have to accept. We cannot parse it out, so I'm seeing that the alternate under engineer's estimate is almost $20,000 less than the alternate for BCM.
Yes, so the alternate, you can award just the base bid or base bid plus alternate. You won't be able to choose between 2 different contractors as far as who to go with. The bids on the alternate did come in higher. The estimate that I used was one that was acquired directly from a contractor. The bid that came from that contractor, because at one point Public Works is looking at hiring somebody directly to complete the work instead of adding it to the project. Adding to the project does add some cost to the contractor as far as the proper bonding and warranty requirements, a lot of stuff that I don't think they had included originally. So the cost did come in higher than what we had estimated. If I had started the estimate without the contractor's involvement, I think my number probably would have been even higher than what the bid was. Because these small improvements, it's 2 blocks, 700 some feet of sewer pipe.
Yeah,
So
and
a small improvement just always costs more.
And I wasn't questioning the estimate at all.
Yep.
I was just seeing that engineer's estimate came in considerably lower on the alternate, so I was just
Yep.
kind of,
Yeah, it's
Okay.
a tough one to estimate those small little improvements,
sure.
so.
Okay, thank you.
All right, any other questions? Otherwise, I would take a motion to approve resolution number 24-03-04-01.
So moved.
Sean made the motion. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Maggie made a second. Any other discussion or questions? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Okay, the next item on the agenda. Thanks, Chris.
Thank you, Chris.
The next item on the agenda is the public is invited to be heard on matters that are not on the agenda. And doesn't look like we have anybody here for that. So next item up for bid is the public hearing on vacating certain easements in the plat on Pond 3rd Edition. So I'll open the public hearing, and does staff want to give or I'll start with staff.
I'll give you a
and then-
brief overview. If you take a look at the overhead, the area in red is actually the drainage utility easement that we had called for the public hearing tonight. Mr. Charlie Sabota is looking to build a home over the middle of the 2 lots that he's purchased in Pond 3rd Edition. In order to have the home built over the lot line, he has requested to combine the lots, and the combination does not erase the easement in the middle of those two lots, so that's what we're here for tonight. We did not get any feedback from any of the utility companies, including New Prague Utilities, that had any concerns about the utility vacation. So really with that, just looking to have the public hearing and look for ultimately adopting the ordinance that would vacate the easement and formally wipe that off the books.
Okay. So with that, does any, council members have any questions before I open the public hearing? Okay, I'll open the public hearing. Does anybody want to speak to the, vacation? Going once, going twice, third time it's gone. Okay, I take a motion to close the public hearing.
So moved. Second.
There's been a motion and second, and Josh can figure out who he wants to put down. And, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. So the next item on the agenda is the ordinance 347 vacating the certain easements. So does somebody want to put their stamp on that?
So
I will
moved.
make a motion to approve ordinance 347 vacating the certain easements in the plat of Pond Third Edition.
Okay. You want to?
Second.
Second? Okay, there's been a motion by Maggie, seconded by Rick. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Next item is a conditional use permit, for a house move-in at 303 Lindale Avenue North.
All right, run through a quick PowerPoint here, as summary. So again, the applicant is Douglas Pint. He's looking to move in a formerly existing home to the lot at 303 Lindale Avenue North. Be a little background, the single-family home that he's looking to locate, along with a detached garage, is currently located on the Otting House Movers lot in Lakeville, but initially the home came from Lake Billsby. And I'll talk about that a little bit more, as the house is gonna be laid out on the lot here. It was constructed in the 1970s, just under 1,200 square feet for above-ground living space. They will be putting a brand-new basement, full basement, new foundation underneath of it on the lot. The home does also need to be brought up to current steep building code, and if you look at the resolution, there's a list of different codes and requirements from windows to electrical and plumbing that need to be updated in the home. Here's just another list. There'll also be a deck added off the master bedroom, patio door, just to name a few other things. We did have a public hearing at the February 20th Planning Commission meeting. The only public comment we got was from Mr. Pint at the public hearing. Did not have any other neighborhood comment. Ultimately, the Planning Commission did recommend approval on a 3-0 vote to move that forward to the council here tonight. A little background, if you take a look at the overhead map, the colors on the map basically indicate single-family zoning. The lighter colored area where you can see the highlighted lot is RL9 or RL70 single-family, which is our smallest minimum lot size we have for a residential lot, and that allows a 25-foot setback, so slightly reduced from what we have normally in other districts in town. Zooming into the property, you can take a look at the orange highlighted areas would be the house, which is on the west side closest to Lindale Avenue, and then the detached garage is going to be accessed off the alley, so there will not be a driveway directly to Lindale. Currently, the lot does not have water or sewer stubbed into it, but with the street and utility project that was just awarded here tonight, that will be taken care of, and the applicant is well aware of those services being added and part of that project for this home to go in. And I did want to point out there's another vacant lot directly to the north of this one as well that is also from this plat that was actually platted back in the year 2000. So one more lot left to go on that block, but this is for the southern of those two that are available. Just another sketch of the lot, how the home will lay out. And we'll run into some photos here. So the middle photo on the screen is actually the lot as it is today. You can see there's a little bit of grade from Lindale up to that lot. And then on, the two photos in the right and left, on the upper portion of that photo are the homes on either side of it. One's, 1980 vintage, actually the home's a little further to the north. And then the right side photo is the 1890s era home, directly, south of the. It's kind of an eclectic block, with a varying, age of homes, that can be found there. And again, this home's built in the 1970s, so it should fit in quite well. And it's also a rambler, and you see some ramblers specifically, within that neighborhood as well. Just a couple more photos of the, view from the street there. And then we'll get into photos of the home. So, photo on the top there, this home was on, Lake Billsby, so the front of the home actually faced the lake, and this was, as it existed there, had the garage, attached and not the back, but the garage is being detached and will be placed by the alley. And that photo on the bottom, left-hand side of the slide there, that will be the front facing Lindale Avenue. That little deck porch area there that you see will be removed. So it'll have, your typical single-family home appearance, from Lindale. So I did want to point that out. Just some pictures of, the inside of the home, it's in good condition. We did have the building official walk through the home as we do with any new, or any moved-in home. And again, made the list of all the items that have to be brought up to current code. And it should be a good addition to the neighborhood. I know at the public hearing, Mr. Pint, the applicant, indicated that the, cost of moving in the home and putting in a new foundation is substantially, less costly than building, new construction. And I think, correct me if I'm wrong, Doug, but I think you mentioned a high $200,000 range to low 300s versus definitely over 400 to stick built. So it's a good affordable home option, particularly for, a more established neighborhood. Just some other photos here, so you can see the home has been updated, in the past. It isn't in original condition, so that's good to note. So ultimately, the planning commission and staff do recommend approval of the conditional use permit to move in that home at 303 Lindale Avenue North. And really the main thing I think we're trying to figure out now with the applicant is timing and moving the home in before the road construction gets going. And that's really, I think, the biggest issue at this point. I'll leave the map up here in overhead. Do you have any other questions? We'll stand for that. And Mr. Pitt can answer questions too if you need.
So it looks like there's a garage back there or some building back there now. Is that gonna be
On the
raised?
lot currently, no, those have been removed.
Oh, have they already? Oh, okay. See, that's how much I pay attention. I just saw it on the picture. Okay. All right. Any questions of the council?
I drove by yesterday, it looks like it's ready to go.
Yep.
What was the, I know Ken just touched on the timetable with trying to coordinate with that, but wasn't there some frost out?
Or, weight
in moving-
restrictions.
Weight restrictions, moving that, I mean, can you just give us a rough idea when the basement might be dug and?
Well, currently, road restrictions are on now.
Yeah.
So it's a matter of me working with the city, street commissioner, I believe, is who I'd work with on that, right, Ken?
Matt, right?
Matt, yeah. So, the question I would have is the main street is a 10-ton road, so we're okay moving it on that. But getting it down this street is gonna be difficult with road restrictions. Now, the lot is going to be, or the road's gonna be, torn up eventually, so the thing Matt and I'll have to work together about is maybe allowing us to move that house on the road since we know it's gonna be rebuilt. And if not, I guess we'll have to wait, and hopefully they start construction on the road to the, east of this road first. So it's a little timing thing, but
Yeah.
I'm sure we'll
We'll
work
be
it
able
out.
to work that, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't understand the weight restrictions, exactly, Matt, I don't know, maybe you can fill me in, or Doug can.
I can.
Okay.
So, every year they put weight restrictions on roads. It's the frost comes out of the roads and they become soft underneath. So they limit the amount of weight you can put on that road per axle. And I think the new Prague roads, if I'm not mistaken, are 5 ton. Is that right?
It's a map on the city website, but that area that he's talking about is a 7-ton during road restrictions.
Yeah.
But normally they're 9-ton throughout town.
Oh, okay.
So, and they'll come off once the weather warms up and the frost, you know, they feel the roads are solid again.
And you go by the state when the state says they come off or go on.
Yeah, we go off of the, state of Minnesota, they post everything.
Yeah.
Tell us when to post them and when to take them off.
Cause sometimes they come off early. I think last year they came off early. Was it last year?
Well, we posted them about a month earlier than normal, just
Oh,
because of the warm weather
yeah.
right now, so hopefully they're off a month earlier
Yeah.
too, so. But
Oh.
it can vary. I mean, I've had them posted all the way up to middle of May, and sometimes it's middle of April, so it really varies.
So construction is scheduled to start around April
Middle of
first?
April, hopefully.
Middle of April,
Yep, but weather dependent.
Yeah.
I mean, if I can get them started earlier, I would.
yeah. So it, you know, it may work,
Figure a time.
yeah,
Give me a call and we'll figure a time out.
yeah,
Yep.
okay.
Wendy, and the only reason I ask is because I was obviously at the planning commission and we discussed this or whatever, but
Sure.
I just happened to be telling someone that was interested in the house already and they, do you have an idea when you would hope to be done in the fall or by, I mean?
So we hope to have it for sale when we have sewer and water. So we have to have that to sell it, I would think. I don't.
And that's all being reconstructed with the project?
Yes,
Okay,
yeah.
so, can you or Matt just have a rough idea? He might have reached, the person that I happened to come from the planning commission and was talking about it, he might have reached out, he knows you might have reached out to you already about it, I don't know if he.
He hasn't, no.
Oh, okay, but anyways, I was just kinda curious to get an answer, go see if you can find out, so that's, it's kinda self-serving, but, I just wanted to pass that information on to him.
Project has to be complete by middle of October. We bumped up the, date that the project has to be completed. With that said, water and sewer, after everything's done, depending on area, I mean, beginning of September, probably.
Oh, okay, all right, I'll just,
And that's kind of what we were planning on,
okay,
yeah,
perfect.
yeah.
Cool. Good. Otherwise, if there isn't any more questions, I take a motion on the resolution. Does somebody want to offer that?
I'll make a motion to approve resolution 24030402, approving the conditional use permit C1 2024 to allow the relocation of a single-family home to a vacant lot at 303 Lindale Avenue North.
Is there a second?
Second.
And Rick seconds it. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, motion carries. Good luck.
Good luck, Doug.
You know, the first time you voted, I actually sat out there and said, that comes from 9 years being on the city council. I'm like, wait a minute, I'm not on anymore.
But if it makes you feel any better, I didn't hear you. It makes you feel better. Okay, the next item on the agenda is general business refuse hauler agreements, Lakers residential, commercial.
Yep, so I'll give you a brief overview on that item. As you recall, with the new refuse hauling ordinance that we put in place at the end of 2023, we had the effective date become April 1, 2024. And with that new ordinance, we required a hauler agreement with every hauler for residential and commercial hauling. So tonight I have in front of you the residential and commercial hauling agreements for Lakers New Prague Sanitary Inc. I worked with Mr. Rob Hennis from Lakers to put these agreements together along with the city attorney, which is using our template based off the new ordinance. And Mr. Hennis is in agreement. And just looking for your concurrence on the agreement tonight. I did want to note, still working on the one for waste management for their commercial hauling, but hopefully have that within the next meeting, maybe the first one in April, but we obviously would like to have that in place by April 1, but this one is ready to go for Lakers. And it continues the citywide cleanup and all the prior arrangements that we had for Christmas tree pickup and everything else, so. Really no change, rates are identical to what they had been before, pickup dates are no different, so it's really kind of keeping the status quo. And it'll be a 3-year agreement for each of the haulers.
Okay. Any questions on that? Otherwise, I would take a motion to approve the refuse hauler agreement with Lakers.
So moved.
Sean made a motion, I'll second it. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
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 Aye. Opposed, motion carries. All right, the next item is the Public Safety Funds spending plan.
Yes, so as you may remember, we received some public safety funds back at the end of 2023 as a one-time payment from the state legislature to the amount of just under $360,000. Within the memo, working with both Chief Applin and Chief Rindo, we put together kind of a plan to use a portion of the money. I say a portion of the money in that we don't currently have a spending deadline on this money, and we aren't looking just to spend the money to spend the money. We were trying to go through stuff that we knew we would either be replacing within the next year or two, or things that we may be taking on just due to increasing in staff and or help within those departments. So if you have any specific questions,
Is this, all this money's gotta be designated just for the PD, or can it be for the fire department too?
so if you look within the memo, there are both fire and police requests within there. They really, it's for all public safety and really, I mean, if we had EMTs within or ambulance, I would also go towards that, but with our current makeup, it's just be fire and police.
I have just a couple quick questions. One, the Axion cameras, I understand with the additional sets for new vehicles, but what was the difference in price, Tim? Do you, roughly? I'm just really shocked at how quickly that's gone up after we signed that contract. I mean, and they just have us over a barrel. You know, we just can't even do anything about it, seems like, but.
Yeah, so what this price is so we currently have, they're called the Axon 2 models is what we have in our cars right now. So we're looking to add 2 to the cars that we have. So I asked for a price to just add 2 of the same cameras that we have right now, which are the models that we, those models would be up for a refresh in 2026. So then all of them would essentially be refreshed at that time. So I asked for a quote for just adding those 2, and they gave it to me, and they said, you know, this may make sense to look at upgrading all of them now to the Axon 3s, which are the newest versions. Axon looks at about a 10 to 12% increase every year. So in updating them now, rather than in 2026, we looked at about a, what was $2,500 cost now, opposed to a 10 or 12 rate increase for the next 2 years. So this number actually makes more sense than waiting to 2026 and updating the rest of the models at that time.
Okay.
So that's what this is at. And again, you are not wrong, and everyone is asking the same question as to why it costs so much, right? And I asked the same question over and over, and they said that COVID did a number on them. There are some upgraded features that these cameras have as far as clarity but the overall functionality and things are the same. There are some enhanced features that they have, so these cameras have the ability to incorporate some ALPRs, license plate readers, which we're not gonna do right now because there's another cost to that, right? So maybe in time you can do that, but I think they're still working to integrate with the state of Minnesota's licensing, and I think they're there, but not within the state of Minnesota. So you would get national hits, but not necessarily Minnesota hits. So I don't know if that does us a lot of good right now, being in Minnesota. So that was kind of my conversation with them, and it made sense for us to do this now rather than wait and probably spend more money in 2 years than we would spend right now. And being able to use these funds that we got from the state to accomplish that, I think made a lot of sense, because these funds are allocated and they have some restrictions on them, which you can and can't use it for. So allocating this to the PD, I think, for, you know, this one-time cost, and then we can set money aside, budgeting, to look forward, so in 5 years, we don't come back and say, oh my gosh, this went up this much again, so we have some money set aside for that.
Right, no, I think that makes a lot of sense. I guess my concern is and I'm sure there's other cities grappling with this, even larger ones that have many more cameras than we do, but they seem to have a monopoly on the market. I mean, there's no, is there any is there anybody else that can give us bids that we could be looking at? I mean, when this next contract comes due, I mean, it just seems,
There are other options out there. I will say that for the functionality that we get with the Axon product, there were several agencies in Scott County that used an outside vendor, GTAC, Panasonic, and some others that they used. Those three agencies have all switched over to Axon just due to the functionality and the ease of access that they have for their agencies. So if you look at our Axon system, and it's through evidence.com, where everything is stored, because you start looking at, with these other programs, you don't have the storage that's included with it, so you're looking at servers, and the amount of data that you're storing, the costs just skyrocket, because then you have to add servers, IT staff, things to maintain all of these records that we're mandated to keep for whatever the circumstance is, a certain amount of time. So when you start looking at, for example, like a request from the public for a video, right? There's a redaction process that needs to happen. So part of this upgrade that we're getting includes that. So as I was speaking with the Axon representative, we went through a lot of things, and I said, hey, we're spending a lot of money here. So they did give us some additional features at no additional cost, and one of those is the Axon client, or the redaction client, which allows us, our record staff or whomever is gonna process that request, to go in and you can start the video and you can pick like a license plate or a face and select that, and then that follows that person throughout the whole video. Because right now we're doing it, we have to do it manually. We had 2 requests, and I think it took our record staff about 16 hours to complete a 35-minute video.
okay.
So there are other ways that this is helping our agency save money, not just on the camera recording and the hardware side. There's other time and staff costs that are incorporated into this as well, so.
Thank you for that. I just,
No, I agree.
it's nice to know that there's at least some competition out there that maybe can get up to the same quality that they can, because it just surprises me every time this comes up.
And I think I think there are other vendors out there that they're hearing what agencies are saying, so they're starting to develop some things, but the technology is just accelerating so fast and so rapidly that keeping up with it, and by the time you come out with something like buying a new TV or computer, by the time you buy it, it's already outdated. So trying to keep up with that, and there are other vendors out there that are trying to do that, but as you look at even the Taser's the only, or Axon is the only company that provides a Taser right now. So that would be a separate contract in and of itself, right? So that would be our only, and then we have to try to integrate that into our other systems, and it just becomes a kind of an administrative nightmare, I guess.
I think it's great that the chiefs get together and the other agencies and they're pushing back at some of those things. but-
Are you gonna be moving on to another I had one question
No,
about
go
the
ahead.
cameras.
No,
Okay.
yeah, absolutely.
The Model 3 Axon, does that require an upgrade also in 2026, or does that get pushed out?
I asked about that. That was one of my questions is, so, okay, when is 4 coming out, right? Cause I don't wanna get into 3 and then next year 4
is here.
comes out, right? So, in all the conversations that I've had, they haven't even begun working on 4 yet, so they're still managing 3 right now. So they said that it likely won't be developed within the next 3 to 5 years. So we would be looking at, this system would be the most recent system and the most current cameras, and we just upgraded when we turned over our body cams and our tasers, that was the last contract that we did. Those are also the body 3s, so those are the latest of the body cameras as well. So we would be up to date on the current technology, and like I said, from what they've expressed to me, there's no set date or any even research being done. I'm sure there's research being done, but there's no plan to integrate the 4s into this, because Axon they're looking at like a CAD system and a RMS system, records management system, like our LETG system. They're looking at developing one of those too. So they're in the game pretty big.
Thank you.
Can you explain the SWAT initial cost? Is that what, like a partnership through Scott County, or are we doing our own SWAT team, or what? I don't,
Yep, that would be through, it's called the Tri-City Team right now, and that is through Scott County and Carver County. So the agencies that are in on that are Prior Lake, Savage, Shakopee, Scott County, and Carver County. Part of when you look at us being a part of that, we would join their team as having officers be a part of that. We wouldn't be heading that up, and New Prague wouldn't have a SWAT team. We would join with their team to have that. Part of our staff has expressed interest in that, and I think that's a way for us as a city to offer some career advancement and some career, some opportunities here that maybe we can draw some more people that are interested and have some more opportunities here. Along with that, they receive a lot of training that those operators then can bring back, and they can bring that back to our agency to train us on entries or vehicles or, the latest and greatest in training and what we should or could be doing better.
okay. Are those costs proportionate to the size of the community?
They are, so.
Okay, so the 23,000 is it's not just divided by 4 or 6?
No, so when I first started looking at this, and this has been about a year-long process, and they have their own governing board. So the initial cost was much larger for the other agencies. So I said, we're small, right? We're not gonna send 6, 8, 10 people to this. So they cut our cost in half to join that, to be a part of this team. So we would be paying a substantial less amount to join than Savage or Shakopee or even the county, so.
Okay, good. You can see where my point was going.
Yep.
I mean, just because I doubt SWAT would be needed in New Prague is maybe based on, not that it never could, and hopefully it never does, but obviously the chances of it happening to a much bigger city or off the freeway in Shakopee or something is.
Yeah, and I think the reality now is we don't know where it's gonna happen.
Right.
So
I just don't want to
that's-
subsidize, yeah, it's nice to hear that. That's why I asked that question.
Yep.
Because I don't want to help subsidize maybe something that's going to primarily be used in bigger cities or in Shakopee or
Right,
whatever.
and when you look at these teams, if you have a team of 25 people, just to throw out a number, on any given day, if 10 or 12 of them are able to respond to a call, that's a good day, because some of them are working, some are on vacation, some just worked the night before, and then you get into an extended event and you're gonna have to rotate those people out. So I think having the staff to do that and support them, everyone on the board was really supportive of it and really excited to have us be a part of that. It was kind of overwhelming support, and they were excited about the thought, so.
Good. I like the idea too, but, and then just one more question on the police side, and then, Steve, I had a couple for you too, that I just wanted to ask. The fitness equipment for the new police station, I mean, that's still kind of a work in progress. It seems a little presumptive to.
And that was one we just kind of earmarked it. I mean, obviously as a working plan.
So we're not gonna go out and buy it and then have to store it somewhere?
No.
We don't know if it's gonna
Yeah,
even
this is basically
happen.
us setting money there as hey, this could happen, so let's set some money there, but if something changes, something changes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't it just sit with the other 238 that we're not using, or
The 121.
the 121, excuse me?
I mean, it could. We were just trying to think of ways that the money could be spent on things that we've talked about, and that was one that came up. If council would rather pull that one off and make that a
Well, no,
141, that's.
And I'm not saying I'm for or against it yet, but as we're trying to move through this thing that's come up is an issue of whether or not we're gonna actually provide that.
Mm-hmm.
And the way it reads here, there's not a lot of detail there. I just wanna make sure we weren't gonna go out and purchase this equipment for something that we might or might not have and, have to store it or whatever, so.
Yes, there was no plan to go out and purchase the equipment at this time.
Okay. Steve, did you get everything you needed? You felt good on?
Yeah,
Cause didn't you need more radios and stuff, or?
well, we're gonna apply for a grant.
Oh, okay.
So that might be something that we can come back for out of here. That's the first chunk is just the first set of. The first chunk that you see there, the 25,000, that's the city's half for the first set of radios that we're buying.
Okay.
We have them budgeted for the next 3 years to get the whole set, replaced.
But, the state just came out with a radio grant this year that's gonna be available second quarter.
Okay,
So before we earmark any money out of this fund for that, I'd like to try to apply for that grant and see if we can't get some money through that grant first.
okay, no, that's awesome, yeah, I appreciate that. And then, the 50,000 for air packs, didn't we just, I thought we just redid air
Yep,
packs.
so that is actually we're earmarking it, but hoping not to use it. I've been working with, Steve and Kennedy and Graven, we've been having some air pack problems. And so we've been trying to work with Honeywell to get things replaced. But they are being a little difficult as they aren't making them anymore. So we are trying to figure that situation out, hoping that we don't have to spend any of our own money or too much of our own money to get stuff replaced. So we threw some money on there saying that we may have to put some money towards this, so let's kind of set a little bit aside.
When did that, I didn't know, I just saw that, I just thought we had already purchased them, and I saw 50,000 on there again, and
Yeah, this is, what is it, 6 months or so we've been working with this, Steve?
Yeah, we've been working on it for about 6 months, so. A year after we purchased the air packs, which would have been close to 5 years ago is when we purchased them, Honeywell quit making them, and they quit making parts. So fast forward to today, we have, air packs that are not brought up to the standard they were supposed to be brought up to. We have some air packs that have been broken, one has been down for well over a year, and we don't have parts, and they can't give us a date for parts because they're not making parts. We have some masts that need to get, replaced, and they can't give us a date because they're not making masts. So we're trying to get them to, purchase the air packs back, essentially, so that we can go a different direction maybe.
okay.
Yeah,
Because they're
that's
starting to fail and they're not able to fix them.
Yeah, and that's been one we've just been working with Kennedy and Graven to kind of help us through this process.
Did council, have we discussed that before?
This is
That seems
not.
like something pretty big we should have maybe known about,
This is something that we're getting to the point where I actually talked to Dwayne about it here last week, where we were kind of under the impression up until almost a week or two ago that Honeywell was kind of on board with doing something, and they're starting to push back now, which is where we were basically, I thought we were gonna have this taken care of and it wasn't gonna be a big deal.
And there's no warranty on the packs.
There is warranty, so that's the problem. There's warranty, but they're not able to honor the warranty. So unfortunately, if you'll remember back when we purchased them 5 years ago, they were $147,000, I believe. And then split half, city paid half, rural paid half. Well, that same purchase today is probably close to $250. So that's where that $50,000 earmark comes in there for the city's half. Does that make sense?
What is Kennedy, so you're gonna give us an update on once Kennedy,
Yeah, I mean, once we can get some kind of concrete answer, okay, this looks like how we're gonna have to move forward one way or the other, that's when I was going to bring you guys in on the situation, if this wasn't gonna be an easy fix behind the scenes.
It's been a real slow go here for the last 6 months, and that's why there really hasn't been an update. It's been really,
I know, but yeah, I'm thinking of lawyer fees and whatnot, I'd hate to have to pay 75 to say.
I think
us
ideally we
spend
were
75
we
to
like
get
the air
50.
packs that we have. Ideally, we were hoping they would just start making parts
Yeah.
and bring them up to the standard that they were supposed to, and then replace the parts and get our air packs back in service, but it hasn't worked out that way.
Is that gonna hurt the potential of our guys? I mean,
We're not there yet, but we're down 3 air packs currently out of our fleet of 22. So, we're down, 15%. So if we continue to keep losing them, that's gonna hurt. And
It's the packs, not the tanks.
it's the packs. Yep, the packs and the maths.
Okay.
I'm sorry, what's the tank?
The
holds
tank
oxygen
the
and
tank, yeah, the tank is the air tank that goes onto the pack.
Okay.
So the tanks are fine.
Okay.
It's just the air packs are,
'Cause I always
there's a
think of
couple, there's different things that have gone on with them, and they haven't been able to supply us with parts.
Okay, all right. Besides that, though, you felt good with everything else? It just,
Yeah. No, it was just a matter of just earmarking some money. If we end up having to, buy new air packs, there's gonna be, just because of the price increase in the last 5 years, unfortunately.
Well,
okay.
Well, you got most of my list. Are you done?
Yeah, yeah.
You did pretty good.
I wasn't, I just,
Oh,
yeah, I
come on,
wasn't-
Rick, you can beat me up a little bit if you want.
No, Steve, you're good. Tim, we approved the, drug enforcement for Scott County, to work with us. How long ago was that? I mean, do we have like a 10-year contract? Why can't that be added to your?
The task force,
Yeah.
that was a budgeted item that we budgeted for every year, so that was that a 5-year? I don't remember, I'd have to go back and look at it again.
I have to go
but-
back, I mean, would certainly something we can look at future spending, if we'd want to do task force stuff here.
on here,
Even with, yeah, because we'd already budgeted for it, we didn't wanna throw it on here. For this year, I mean, if you look for the SWAT, we put half of 25 on there, just to kind of ease us more into the initial cost, which we're estimating about $6,000 a year. But I mean, future spendings on drug task force, we do the same thing with this as well.
And it's not an amount that we could say, hey, we wanna get that on here real quick. We don't, the amount isn't up to the same standards as the air packs or something like that, right?
No, I mean, it's not nearly as high as.
Like 10 grand a year or something?
I don't even
It
remember,
was 3,500, wasn't it?
less than that, yeah, it was,
Something like that.
Alright,
it was a pretty low amount.
Yeah,
alright, so I'll look at.
Any other questions? Okay, so do you want approval of this
Just-
plan, or is this for information?
Yep, so this would be looking for approval of the plan, since we'd be
Okay.
looking at, then moving forward with a few of these things.
So move.
Okay, Rick made a motion to approve this. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Sean seconds it. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, motion carries. Okay, we're down to miscellaneous, just fitness and aquatic center financial reports in there. I'll start going around the horn. Maggie, do you have something?
I do not.
Sean?
Just a couple, one that I missed during the consent agenda, I apologize about that, but I noticed in the liquor, licenses, there was a few missing. Is that going to, are they gonna be able to get that by April 1st through the state if they miss this meeting and have to wait till?
the only current license that is not being renewed right now is the corner bar.
Okay.
They hadn't paid their fee to the city yet. And in their application, they had two different names. They had New Prague, they had the Corner Bar LLC and the Corner Bar NP, and then their insurance carrier was a separate name, so those things didn't match. So in talking to the state wouldn't accept that application with not the names aligning to be the same, and then we didn't get the city's portion of their renewal fee. So I called Ireland Hurley and got a call back from Caleb, and he indicated that he would have that taken care of the following day and was gonna send me some other documents, and I have not received anything. They're aware of what needs to be done. I explained to them that their license would expire on the 31st, and that there's potentially another meeting before the 31st, that if they were to get the documents that need to be corrected, submitted to the state and everything realigned, and then the license fee paid to the city, we could certainly bring that to the meeting on the 18th. So
Okay.
there is an opportunity there. It's just the ball's kind of in their court as to if they're gonna follow through with what they've told me they're gonna do.
Sure, and I hope that works out. I was just, and then we don't have to mention the other two names. I think we all know which ones weren't, but I was just kinda curious. I'd hate to see them.
Yeah,
Not
so
be around.
any that weren't on there, I've been in communication with.
Okay,
So it's not like we just didn't put them on there. We've had communications and everyone is on the same page as far as what needs to be done to make that happen.
okay,
So
good. I hope they all stay on there, so.
Anything else?
That was it.
Okay, I don't have anything. Well, I guess I do have one thing. I put a thing in front of you on the post office. I received that after the last meeting. So, just a little update on the post office from them. So, I thought it was important that you guys get that. So-
In the mail today, I did receive the little
postcard?
postcard with the
Oh,
comment.
really? Good, good.
Cause in this letter, it's still saying it's under
Yeah,
consideration.
I know.
I think it's under consideration until it's not anymore. So if you read the letter, even by the end, they say for some reason the public comment digs up something they weren't expecting, then they'll basically start the whole process over again with new location criteria.
Yeah,
So we can share this information with.
absolutely.
Okay. And people are being notified,
Yes.
the residents. are. Okay.
On the second,
I haven't
think
seen
on
that
that
yet.
second part of that letter, it mentions how they're gonna do that process, or in here someplace.
Okay.
With the comment period and stuff, it talks about it.
Yeah,
So,
there's 45 days
comment period, like,
open to
yeah.
submit comments.
Okay. I didn't see, was that in the email or just tonight?
Oh, today,
Oh,
I
okay,
made
all right. I
copies
just thought
and
maybe I
I
missed
passed out
Okay,
today,
no,
so.
that's perfect. Thank you.
I have nothing.
Okay, Josh?
Only thing, as you may remember, just as a reminder, at the next meeting, Wold will be back to both update you all on the strategic design process for the police station, as well as give an update on the rec study that they've been doing. So
Anything else?
that should be it.
Tim, anything else? Matt? Chief?
In the last month, I think you'll remember at the beginning of the year, I didn't anticipate any retirements this year or hires. In the last month, we did take 2 resignations. So in the probably next month here, we'll be bringing a couple new hires to you. So one is moving to Iowa and one was just got too busy.
Has it been posted yet? or-
It's posted and closed.
Oh, it is.
already.
Oh. How many applicants did you?
6.
Oh, good.
Nice, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, perfect.
So
New Prague's beating the trend then.
we have been beating the trend for many years now. I will say it's probably half of what it was 5 years ago.
Sure.
But we're definitely beating the trend, yeah.
Good, good.
And Fireman's Dance is when? April
The first Saturday after Easter, what is that, the 6th?
of April, something like that.
Yeah.
Man, that's coming already,
Yeah.
jeez.
No, so, and thanks for the hard work on the Main Street fire.
Yeah,
I got a lot of good compliments about,
Yeah, it went about
Our
as well as
crew
it
and-
could, so.
yeah, I mean, it's a fire, it's.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'll second that, Steve, thank you, good job.
That brings up a quick question, because I know you guys used a drone in that fire.
Oh, that was
So
cool.
the drone that's on that new safety spending that we just discussed, is that just a second one or an advanced one, or is that one?
That would be, yeah, it would be a second drone, and it would be identical to the one we have. And I can let Tim talk more to that.
The idea with the second drone is you're able to have constant vision of what you're trying to look at. So with the current drone, with having one, you put it up and the battery only lasts, 20 minutes.
sure,
So now you can send one up
Just ladder 'em
before
and-
the other one comes down, so you have a constant view of what you're looking at. So, and both for police and fire, if we were to ask for their assistance to use it, like if we're trying to watch something and we didn't have eyes on it for a period of time, or, some part of the roof collapse that they didn't know about, or they find another hot spot or something, we just wanna have that constant view, so you can send one up, change out the batteries, send the other one up, so there's that constant rotation in there. And then you can also with Steve and I had talked about the parts being interchangeable in batteries, so you're kind of saving the cost of batteries there, so everything is kind of interchangeable. So that's kind of why we went with that
Yeah.
route.
yeah, it's really neat, that you can tell all the firemen that played video games when they were kids. They really get onto that, I never, but they just, boy, they were just flying that thing around that night and.
Yeah, a lot
Oh, you could tell.
A lot of people got to see it and usually got to see the screen too, and I thought that was pretty.
Yeah, I never saw the screen, but,
It was like every time you'd see it, and then all of a sudden it would go up, and then you'd hear, so you're cutting I knew you were cutting the roof off.
so, all right,
Good job.
I would take a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second? No. You
Oh, no,
seconded
you
it.
can take the
Oh,
second on the
I-
adjourn
yeah.
part. I don't wanna.
Maybe say aye.
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 No, I was asking for a second.
You just want me to look like